monuments to war, monuments to peace, the battle for independence, and the historic birthplace of a nation. Today on Great Places Seen, it's a visit to Williamsburg and Yorktown. Don't just stand there, run on over and come along for the ride. It's a nice day to roll on down the road. This Virginia country road has railroad history past and present. As this train heads through woods and open fields. Two lanes give way to 4, to 6 lanes divided, and 8, moving faster in essentially a straight line due east through Richmond. On the way to Williamsburg as the highway narrows again. Rain fails to slow down this rig until safely parked and set up, settling in for a nice, slow evening. First stop is the Visitor Center, which has an exceptionally detailed 3D scale model of Colonial Williamsburg. Since I can't fly the drone here, this is the next best flyover view. I'm sure the colonists would have loved to have seen their home from this vantage point. Certainly some dreamed of flight, but likely none could have envisioned how relatively fast it eventually would be possible. This is where we're about to walk through. This man needs no introduction. You know, winners always get their picture on the wall. The pedestrian bridge begins to unwind time. What? No TV? Well, no income tax is okay. 70 miles max travel overland? Well, I guess we have to set aside RVing for a while. This little guy looks like he's from way back in time. Sheep. Well, it does say it's Scotland. You know what they say, feed them and they will come. I know, the camera isn't very appetizing. But maybe some of these yellow flowers are. These are Leicester longwools, now rare in North America and Britain. I didn't know the colonists wore masks. This is the Governor's Palace. And Palace Green. Very stately, just watch your step. It's a great place to play hoop and stick.
More you have to run. See?
Williamsburg was the capital of Virginia colony from 1699 to 1780. It had a significant role in the American Revolution, and it's part of the historic triangle that includes Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in the Americas in 1607, and Yorktown, location of the last Revolutionary War battle in 1781. Here's the courthouse. Where the colonial flag proudly flies. Well, not so much for the Union Jack. A pair of pillories. Somehow these clouds add to the feeling of being in the past. Of course, present-day souvenirs are close by. Many of the taverns and restaurants are still open. You know this old tree has seen some history go by. If you close your eyes, you could almost think some old guy is standing by the fence trying to sound like a sheep.
That's hungry.
But it is a sheep.
I think it's time for me. I think I'll...
That's a simple way to keep a gate closed. Shells from the river and the bay line the old streets. Now there's pavement. small, beautiful gardens are tucked away between and behind the buildings. A working colonial-era bakery. It's okay to see what's behind the fence. Actors in costume always seem to draw a crowd. The Capitol Building. This was the seat of Virginia's colonial government for 75 years. For many, it was the only capital they ever knew. For others, and eventually for us, this was a place where calls for independence steadily grew louder. Most of the animals seen here are part of Colonial Williamsburg's Rare Breeds program. Founded in 1986, the initiative helps to promote genetic diversity in livestock that research shows thrived in 18th century colonial British America.
Fetch.
It fits with the city's mission statement, that the future may learn from the past. Here, some residents of Williamsburg's past remain. If not an entrance, then it's an exit? Doesn't this house look like it's made of chocolate? An 18th century parking space, now with modern sewage. The Congregation of Bruton Parish Church was established in 1674. The present church building opened 41 years later and has been in continuous use for over 3 centuries. Another impressive garden. Do you suppose the hedges were trimmed like this before power tools? Speaking of modern conveniences, the present creeps back in as we walk west. Still, there are scenic reminders of the past. Apparently, colonial-era birds had spacious accommodations. As the walk back returns us to the present day. Seemingly still stuck in the past is Colonial Parkway. Wow, this is a deceptively bumpy road. It leads to the final hurdle to U.S. independence, the battle at Yorktown. This is the last major battlefield of the Revolutionary War. In the fall of 1781, 5 years after the Declaration of Independence, General George Washington, with allied American and French forces, besieged General Lord Cornwallis's British Army. Cornwallis surrendered on October 19th, effectively ending the war and ensuring independence. Earthen redoubts, temporary or supplementary fortifications without flanking defenses, were held by British forces. The aim was to provide a protected harbor for the British fleet on the Chesapeake Bay. Here at the cliff's edge, troops under the command of Alexander Hamilton, with unloaded weapons, heroically captured the extreme left outlying British position, Redoubt Number 10. Which quickly led to the full surrender. The 8,300 British soldiers were vastly outnumbered by about 17,600 American and French troops, while the French Navy formed a successful blockade of the bay. It's estimated between 200 and 400 fighters from both sides died in Yorktown. Interestingly, my family tree traces back to figures on both sides of this decisive battle, including Cornwallis himself. Yeah, he's a family relative. I guess, like in the Civil War later, it was not uncommon for families to have been split on both sides of the war. Not far away from the battlefield is the Yorktown Victory Monument. It took a full year after the British surrender for a provisional peace treaty to be concluded, and yet another year for the definitive peace treaty to be finalized. You may think the present-day U.S. government acts slowly, but consider this. Just 10 days after the British surrender, the Continental Congress authorized the creation of a monument to commemorate this most special event. Yet, it took more than 100 years before the Victory Monument was unveiled on October 10, 1884, overlooking the area of the York River and the Chesapeake Bay that the British had sought to control. The shaft of main granite is 84 feet high, while the figure of Liberty adds another 14 feet. The original figure of Liberty was damaged by lightning and was replaced in 1956. There's a very nice park below the Victory Monument along the York River shoreline looking out toward the Chesapeake Bay. a tall ship, or perhaps a ghost ship? You decide. Having enjoyed our freedoms and walks back in time, it's time to flush the tanks, pack up, hit the road, and head west to return the trailer to storage. It was really great having you along. Please follow GPS as it leads you to the next destination.